Okay. So this is the fourth video of my YouTube channel, and if you've been watching the other 3 videos, then you've probably figured out by now that this is a fitness channel. So today I'm just gonna explain my fitness story. So it all started freshman year. So during growing up, I was always into a bunch of sports. I did basketball, soccer, wrestling, and some swim team when I was little, and other stuff. So going into high school, I really only had one sport that I played. I played rec basketball and stuff like that, rec baseball. But the only sport I seriously played was wrestling. So I went in to wrestling freshman year, and I wasn't a starter on varsity, but I was pretty good, and I was the top of the JV, and I would wrestle varsity a lot of matches, and I think I went like 4-2 on varsity or something when I did wrestle, and then I only lost one match on JV, and I won both of the tournaments, and it was good. That's probably when I fell in love with sports and stuff like that, and just being active in general. That's when I found out that I was actually pretty athletic, and that I could do big things in sports. So going into that off season, all I did was just trained wrestling. So I had done good in the thing. I just loved it. And every day I would just go and wrestle and then go home. I would lift. I wouldn't lift to the best I could, because I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. But I would try to lift. I would go for runs when I could, and I would just wrestle the rest of the time and then go to school, obviously. And I got better and better. I think I could have, looking back now, I think that if I, the person I am now, went back then, I could have got even better, because I'm a better learner now. But I was still getting better. I was losing a lot of matches because I was doing off-season tournaments against some of the best kids in the on the weekends, and I was losing a lot, but I was still learning. And it was going pretty well, and I was excited for my sophomore wrestling season. I had a spot secured on varsity, and I was looking at going to wrestle 126 for varsity, and I was probably going to have a good season. So then that summer, I was still wrestling hard, still preparing for the sophomore season. And one time I was lifting in the weight room for my school in summer program for wrestling and lifting. And I was squatting specifically, and my back just really started hurting after, and I didn't know what happened. And we had practice right after that, and it hurt. During practice, I had to sit out and do some stretches, and it was really weird. It was nothing I had ever felt before. It kind of felt like I just couldn't move, or it was really weird. But the days passed, and I maybe took 4 days off of wrestling, and then it basically got better, and I didn't feel it again. So I didn't really think anything of it. But then I kept lifting, wrestling, and I was growing a lot at the time. I was only about 5'6" or 5'7" my freshman year of high school, and now I'm 6 foot. So I was growing a lot during that time, and it kind of like just came back, and it was really just limiting, but I kept pushing through it. I don't really remember if I told people about it, but I think I told people about it, but I didn't make it out to be that serious. I didn't think it was that serious. I never really had an injury. I thought I could just get away with doing anything and I wouldn't get injured. But it kept getting worse and worse, and I kept wrestling and wrestling, and it wasn't a good formula. So then I kept wrestling, and one day I remember I was wrestling this smaller kid, but he was really good. He was from Seneca High School, which is close to my high school, and I was wrestling him, and he was better than me, but he was a 106, and at that time I was probably like 125, and I was pretty good, so it was an even match. And we were just not wrestling like in a tournament, we were just wrestling in a practice, but we were going at it pretty hard. And I just remember my back kind of like felt weird. It like felt like something like pulled like out of nowhere. And that's when it really started like limiting everything I did. I still kept wrestling after that for maybe 2 more weeks. And then I just remember one tournament during a match, I like just couldn't move anymore. It just hurt so bad. I literally couldn't move on the mat. I had to get helped off the mat. And it was terrible. I was crying. And we went to the doctor because it had been a month at that point of like bad pain, and we had to get it figured out somehow. So we got an MRI, and it turned out that my lumbar spine was broken on both sides. So basically, that's not the spinal cord, because then I would be paralyzed, which would not be good at all. But it's basically the bones that come off the spine. They were cracked on both sides, and it was a stress fracture. So basically what happened was my muscles got so tight and they didn't stop doing stuff, and that so tight that they actually tore on both sides, and it pulled the bone off too. So my back was broken, and I was out of wrestling for at least like 3 months. And it was a pretty tough time because wrestling had been my life for like a year, and I had absolutely nothing to do, and I was pretty sad and depressed, and it was really boring. So I thought that I would be able to return to wrestling, and I actually did for that season a little bit, 3 months. So I broke it around September. I think September 17th was the exact date that I broke my back. So in like January, I came back, and I wanted to wrestle right away. So it like felt kind of fine because I had literally done nothing for the past like 4 months or whatever, September to that. I'm not doing the math right now. But I guess I felt fine. I don't know. But this was sophomore year. So right now I'm a rising senior. So I just completed my junior year of high school. So at this point, this was my sophomore year in the winter. So I came back to wrestling for about a week that season. And no like back support here, kind of hurts my back. It's funny. But so I came back for 1 week, and I wrestled in practice. I did okay, I guess, in practice. I didn't think I was doing that bad. But then coach put me into a JV tournament so I could get some reps in before I would be pulled up to varsity. And I wrestled my first match. I wrestled some scrub. I pinned him easily. I think I could pin him with no legs, no offense. And then I wrestled someone else who was not good either, and I beat him 8-0. I should have pinned him, but I had no endurance at that point. And then I wrestled another kid we call him Captain America because he would wear like these like socks that were really long, and they had American flag. He had like some cheesy mullet, and he just looked like I don't even know, wannabe like cowboy or something. And I wrestled him, and he was not good. I remember he would always post on Instagram him winning his like JV matches and stuff. But I lost to him. It was pretty bad. I lost pretty bad to that kid. He was really bad. But I hadn't wrestled in a year. I was not a year, like 4 months. But yeah, I was pretty down on myself, even though I really had a valid excuse that I hadn't wrestled in a while. And then I wrestled some Morristown kid, and he was not good at all. I remember the next match, he got pinned by some scrub on our team, and he beat me pretty bad too. I couldn't get up the whole match. It was not because of my back, just because I was getting dominated. And I lost pretty badly, and that was the last time I wrestled, because after that my back started hurting again. And I was out for the season, which only went to like the beginning of March anyway. But I was out for the season. So before I continue with the story, I'm gonna do my PT exercises that I'm doing right now for my back. So it's just my stretches. I'm not doing my full routine because I had physical therapy today, so I did that then. But I'm just gonna do my stretches real quick, and then I'll get back to the story. Sorry if that looked a little goofy, but that's some of the stretches, so don't break your back. Also, look at the thing I'm recording on. It's like a selfie stick. And the thing broke down here, so I had to tape it together. And also this thing just like comes undone or something, and it just falls right through. So this is the equipment we're running with right now. So hopefully this video or some video someday, you know, blows up or something, so I can get better equipment and film better videos. But yeah. So anyways, that spring I decided to join winter track, or spring track, because it's the spring. And so like 3 weeks before I started training, I would run every day. I didn't know anything about like how much if you should like do workouts one day and then easy runs another day. I just kind of did like a workout basically every day. But I didn't really do a workout because there was no reps. I would just run for like a long run, but like as fast as I could. So like maybe the first day I ran 3 miles, but just like fast, which was probably like 7 something pace for me back at that time. And I would be out of breath after that. And then the next day I tried to like do more miles every day. So the next day I would do like 4. And eventually I was doing like 9 or 10 miles of just running fast. Somehow I didn't get injured. And out of, because I'm someone that gets injured all the time, for running at least. And somehow I didn't get injured. But then spring track rolled around mid-March, and I didn't have any friends on the team at the time, but I made some, and I met my friend Cooper, who kind of like took me in, and I like the seniors and stuff. They helped me out, and I ended up being pretty good right away, or not bad, not good, but decent for literally your first time running ever. I remember the first time trial I ever ran. Well, I ran in 800 meters. Everyone had to do it on the distance team, and I ended up running 2:21, which isn't like a great time. And nowadays I've ran that in miles, in like a mile split, but it was good for me because I had never ran before. And I remember I didn't know anything about pacing at the time, and I was kind of like had a big ego. I was like, I could just run fast the whole time. It's only 2 laps. And I didn't understand how much like the 2 laps would take out of me and how big 2 laps actually is on a track. So I just kind of started sprinting the first lap, and I literally think I ran like a 60 seconds the first lap, and then I was completely dead the second lap, and it was terrible. I ended up not winning my race. I was kind of in like the lower kids race, and I lost my race to someone who we were around the same. He was also his first year, but he was really good too. His brother was like insane. And I ended up losing that race because of that. But in the end, it was still a good race, and it was a great start to my career. So then the first real race rolled around, and it was some relay. And I remember the person who was handing it off to me, who was also the kid that beat me in the time trial, he fell down right away, like while he was trying to hand it off to me. So I was the second leg, and I had to pick it up, and I still ran a good race. I PR'd by 6 seconds, and I ran 2:15. So that was nice. And then I ran the mile after that, and it was an open mile, and it was in a dual meet against another school near us, and I kicked past some people and placed 3rd in the dual, which wasn't like super impressive, but back then I was like, the guys who won ran 4:48 and 4:53, I think, and I ran 5:10, so I was happy to be up there with them. And I got 3rd in that, scored some points for my team. I was super happy. That was my first like actual like open race. So the season went on. I think in the next 2 weeks I ended up running 5:07 and then 5:09. So that was pretty good. I did win a race. I only ran 2:16, but it was like a dual meet against some like school with 6 people. But I won that race, and I was really enjoying the season. And then one day, like an idiot, I decided to run 10 miles hard, just like a random day, right after a workout probably. and I ended up injuring my hamstring, and I was like out for the rest of that season. So that was awful, but it was still a good season, and I love that my sophomore year, the spring, I met a lot of new people, and it was a great time still. So then came summer. I got away from injury, and I was able to run that summer besides my shin splints thing, which if you watch the shin splints video, that's when I talk about that, but that was nothing really. But I was able to run the whole summer and do cross-country training. I was only able to build to like 45 miles because I was still new, and if I did more than that, it was starting to hurt at 45 miles. So I couldn't really go more than that, unfortunately. But that's all I had really for the training plan anyway. So it went well. Every day I was super disciplined. I would wake up at 7 in the morning, or even earlier if I had to. I would do my morning routine. I would meditate. I would take a freezing cold shower. I would do my static stretch and my dynamic stretch, and I would go for a run. Sometimes it would be a workout, sometimes it would be an easy run, and then I would come home and do my static stretches, and then I would do pull. My back was actually feeling pretty good at this point. It wasn't feeling 100%, but I would go home after that and do pull-ups and push-ups, like hundreds of reps for each, like David Goggins. And I put on like a little bit of muscle, probably not much, but I was liking that. I couldn't do pull-ups and push-ups all the time because my back would flare up here and then, but I was still really enjoying my summer, and I was getting more fit in every way. So it was looking good heading into the cross-country season. And also, a side note to show how like disciplined I was back then, I had no Snapchat, no Instagram, no social media besides YouTube, and I didn't really use YouTube because I don't really consider it so much of a social media anyway. I do have Snapchat now, but I didn't eat any junk food. I only ate like good foods, stuff like meat, vegetables, stuff like that. I only ate fruits and stuff, but I ate no chocolate, no Snickers bars, no stuff like that, no gummy worms. Now I don't eat as good. I don't eat gummy worms and stuff like that, but I don't eat good now. I eat mediocre. I still try to eat good, but I'm not like clean or anything completely. But I was really disciplined. So then came the first race of cross-country season, and it was the Cherokee Challenge, which is a huge race which has a ton of teams, and it's broken up into grade. So there's like senior boys, junior boys, and so on. There's also middle school races, and then there was obviously girls for each event too. And I was a junior last year, so I ended up running my best race ever. I was just like in the race, I didn't even care. It was literally like, I didn't feel pain. It was honestly crazy. It was nothing I had ever like experienced before. I just ran like with no worries. Literally, I wish I could. I was never able to like completely like do that again, to imitate it completely. And I ran really good. I ran 10:44, which I think it was a 2-mile course, so it was really 10:40 in 3,200 terms. But you gotta like it's a hard course. It's cross country first of all, so you're not running around the track, and there's so many hills in that course. It's a tough course. And I placed 23rd and medaled because top 30 got medaled. I think there was like 330 in my race, and I placed 23rd, so that was awesome. And after that, I ran like a batch meet, and I ran 18:56 because we were tempoing in the 5K, and then I ran like 19 flat at a tempo. For some reason I didn't go all out, and I ended up getting injured actually again, and I broke my foot in a workout. So yeah, I was done for cross country too. But then winter track came around, and I really took good care of my body. I really made sure I didn't get injured, and I ended up not getting injured the whole winter track season. I had my best season yet. I ran 2:09 in the 800, which is not terrible for indoors. It's still not that good, but I ran 4:46 in the mile, which was awesome, and I was really happy about that. I think I ran 4:53 at first, and then I got it down to 4:48, and then I got it down to 4:46.13, and then my final race of the season I ran 4:46.06, and I was never able to break 4:46, which kind of sucked, but I was hoping to in the spring. And it was a really good season. I really got to bond with my teammates and make lifelong friends, so it was an awesome season. We did good in our relays too. We placed top 3 in medal a lot of times at big meets. So it was a really fun season, and I was really looking forward to the spring season because I had made a name for myself in winter, at least at a local level. So I was excited. Then came spring of my junior year. So this is pretty recent. I'm going into my senior year. So this was this past spring. It's currently middle of July. So this was like March. So I was training hard for the spring season, and then all of a sudden my back got bad again, and I had to take a little bit off. I wasn't too concerned because it had flared up a few times in the winter season, and I just took a day off and I was fine. But this time it didn't go away after a few days, and then after a week, it was terrible. It started hurting like every time I ran. It felt like my bones were just like clashing together, and it was awful. So I decided to go to the doctors, and my doctor, he decided to tell us about this option we had, which was like this giant brace, which I'll put a picture on the thumbnail of this brace. It was basically, it went around my full waist, and it was super tight. I had to sleep with it, wear it 24/7. It went down my leg, literally down my leg on my thigh. There's a thigh cuff there, it's connected, and it was terrible. I had to walk like so stiff because you had to lock it when you walked, and you had to literally walk like you literally had to walk like stiff, like you decided you couldn't walk normally, and you had to unlock it and click it to sit down. So it was pretty uncomfortable and it was terrible. We decided to go with it because we decided it was finally time to fix my back, and if this didn't work, then I would need surgery. So I wore it till 3 months. For 3 months, I literally just got out of this brace. Like as soon as I guess my the video is fishing a sport that I made. That was like a day or two, like getting out of my brace, and I didn't even know if it worked right now. Yeah, at least I didn't know if it worked at first because I was still having pain when I got out. Maybe I got out like 2 weeks ago. I don't remember, but I got out recently. But it was still hurting right when I got out, and this was a really tough time. Wearing this brace, I shaved my head for some stupid reason because I used to have beautiful hair, and now I don't. Literally, it's taken like forever to grow in. This is literally 4 months of growing because I was like locking in for spring track, and I decided to shave my head, not shave it bald, but shave it like a low buzz cut. And that it just didn't look good, and it still doesn't look that great, but hopefully it regrows back soon. It's taken forever, I don't know why, but that was rough. I just made everything worse just because I looked worse. I'm someone that needs long hair because like I just need long hair to make myself look good, and I don't right now, so that kind of sucks, but I will have it soon. It needs to grow a little faster. Maybe I need some like hair growth steroids if that's a thing, but yeah, that just made it worse, and it was a really tough time in my life. Really similar to when I first broke and I couldn't do anything. It was just sad. I had nothing to do, and I was really bored, and it was awful. And there was no I didn't know if it was gonna work. Still kind of don't know, but. So now, I'm out of my brace right now. I still can't run yet. I still can't lift. I haven't been able to lift in 2 years, and that's something I really want to do because I want to get strong and big and improve my appearance. So it kind of sucks right now. I'm kind of struggling, and I work at Dunkin' Donuts now, so I guess that's something to do. I also do like some preschool volunteer stuff. I like this like summer camp, not like it's like a preschool summer camp. So that kind of holds me over. I hang out with my friends and stuff, but I should be able to start running next week or the week after of some sort. And that's kind of why I made this channel, so I can like show my comeback in life and stuff, and start lifting, show my fitness journey. I want to start lifting like seriously once I can. Right now we took an MRI recently since I got out of my brace, and it did show that it healed the bones, that at least there's no sign of a fracture. It shows that there's disc bulges in my back, which is not as bad as a fracture, not nearly as bad. And that can have recovery. Like I can recover with therapy and stuff. So hopefully I don't need surgery. If we're gonna get a CT scan, and that's gonna show if I do need surgery or not, if it's really healed or not. So if I do need surgery, then oh well, I'm ready. But hopefully it did heal from this brace treatment, and I'm back to being a kid again. But that's why I made this channel, so I can show my comeback, show me lifting, getting huge, running and stuff. I'll still run. I'm not gonna run competitively next year or at all anymore, but I'm still gonna do running, still gonna hang out with my friends. And on this channel, I'm not only gonna post fitness stuff, I'm gonna post fitness stuff, but I'm gonna post funny videos of me and my friends too, or just fun times in general, or big moments in my life. So stay tuned. I hope you like these videos. I mean, my last 2 videos, they were just me talking, so I guess they weren't like that high quality, but I hope the tips helped you. But this is my story in fitness, at least. And stay tuned, because this is just the beginning, and hopefully I get back to it soon. Probably next week I'll make some actual videos of me doing workouts, probably running videos next week. That's what I can do. And stay tuned, because big things coming. Thank you.